First contact fumble. Dr. Elara Chen squinted at the flickering holographic display, her tired eyes struggling to make sense of the data streaming across it. The quantum communication experiment had been running for 72 hours straight, and she was beginning to wonder if she'd ever see her bed again. But something about this latest burst of data made her sit up straight, suddenly wide awake. "Hey, Raj," she called out to her colleague. "Come take a look at this. I think we've got something." Dr. Rajesh Patel, bleary-eyed and clutching his third cup of coffee, shuffled over to Elara's workstation. "What am I looking at?" he mumbled, peering at the display. Elara's fingers danced across the holographic interface, isolating a particular data stream. "See this pattern? It's not random noise. There's a structure to it, almost like a language," Raj finished, his eyes widening. "But that's impossible. We're just testing quantum entanglement communication between our lab and the lunar base. There shouldn't be any external signals." Elara nodded, her excitement building. "Exactly. But what if we accidentally tapped into something bigger? What if quantum entanglement isn't just limited to our solar system?" As the implications of her words sank in, a tense silence fell over the lab. If they were right, this could be the biggest discovery in human history. It could also be the biggest mistake. Across the galaxy, on the verdant world of Zephyria Prime, first communicator Zixara clicked her mandibles in irritation. The quantum relay had been acting up all day, spewing gibberish into the crystalline communication matrices. She was about to shut down the system for a diagnostic when something caught her compound eyes. "By the great hive," she chittered, her antennae twitching in excitement. "Vexilar, come here. I think we're receiving a first contact signal." Vexilar, her assistant, scuttled over on his 6 legs, his exoskeleton shimmering with anticipation. "Impossible," he buzzed. "We've been monitoring all known spacefaring races. There are no new species advanced enough for quantum communication." Zixara's mandibles clicked rapidly, the Zephyrian equivalent of a dismissive snort. "Well, clearly there is. Look at this pattern. It's crude, yes, but definitely artificial. Someone out there just stumbled onto the galactic communication network." As they watched, the strange signals continued to pour in, becoming clearer and more structured with each passing moment. Zixara felt a mix of excitement and dread wash over her. First contact was always a delicate affair and an accidental one. That could be disastrous. "We need to alert the High Council," she said, her voice grave. "And may the Hive help us all if these newcomers are as clumsy with diplomacy as they are with quantum physics." Back on Earth, news of the potential alien contact spread like wildfire. Within hours, the small quantum communications lab had been swarmed by government officials, military personnel, and a veritable army of scientists from every discipline imaginable. Dr. Chen found herself thrust into the spotlight, trying to explain the complexities of quantum entanglement and the implications of that accidental discovery to a room full of world leaders and their advisors. "So, let me get this straight," the US president said, pinching the bridge of his nose. "You were trying to talk to the moon, and instead you might have called aliens." Elara nodded, trying to keep her composure. "In essence, yes, Madam President. It appears that quantum entanglement operates on a scale we never imagined. Our experiment seems to have tapped into a pre-existing network of quantum communication spanning the galaxy. And now these aliens know we exist." The Chinese premier asked, his face a mask of concern. "It's possible," Elara admitted. "We're not sure how much information was transmitted or how it might be interpreted. We're still trying to decode the return signals we're receiving." The room erupted into a cacophony of voices, each leader trying to assert their opinion on how to proceed. It was the British Prime Minister who finally cut through the noise. "People, please," he shouted, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of diplomatic tradition. "This is potentially the most significant moment in human history. We need to approach this with caution, yes, but also with hope and an open mind." As the room quieted, All eyes turned to Dr. Chen. Dr. Chen, the Prime Minister continued, "What do you suggest we do next?" Ilara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. "We need to respond," she said firmly. "But we need to do it right. We need a team: scientists, linguists, anthropologists, diplomats. We need to craft a message that represents the best of humanity." "And if these aliens aren't friendly?" the Russian president asked, voicing the fear that hung unspoken in the air. Ilara met his gaze steadily. "Then we'll need to be ready for that too. But let's not assume the worst. This could be the beginning of something amazing." As the world leaders debated and plans were made, Ilara couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and terror. Humanity had just taken its first stumbling steps onto the galactic stage, and there was no going back. On Zephyria Prime, the High Council of the Zephyrian Alliance had convened an emergency session. The chamber, a massive organic structure that pulsed with bioluminescent light, was abuzz with the clicking and chirping of agitated councillors. High Councillor Zalfirix, her iridescent wings shimmering with authority, called the session to order. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice resonating through the chamber, "we face an unprecedented situation. A new species has inadvertently made contact through the quantum network." Murmurs of concern rippled through the assembly. First Communicator Zixara, Zalfirix continued, "Please share your findings with the council." Zixara stepped forward, her antennae twitching nervously. "Honorable councillors, the signals we've received are primitive but unmistakably artificial. They originate from a previously unexplored sector of the galaxy. Based on the signal characteristics, we believe this species has only recently discovered quantum communication technology." "Are they a threat?" demanded Councillor Vex Norax, his mandibles clicking aggressively. "Unknown," Zixara replied, "but that accidental contact suggests they may be more of a danger to themselves than to us." This elicited a wave of chittering laughter from the assembly, quickly silenced by a stern look from Zalfirix. "We must not underestimate them," the High Councillor warned. "Many species have risen from humble beginnings to become formidable forces in the galaxy. We must approach this with caution and wisdom." "What do you propose, High Councillor?" asked Zixara. Zalfirix's compound eyes gleamed with determination. "We will respond. We will welcome them to the galactic community. But we will also test them. Their response will determine whether they are treated as potential allies or potential threats." The council chamber erupted into a flurry of discussion. As the debate raged on, Zixara couldn't help but wonder about these strange new beings. What would they be like? How would they react to the knowledge that they were not alone in the universe? Little did she know, across the vast expanse of space, humanity was asking the very same questions. As the first day of this new era drew to a close, both humanity and the Zephyrians prepared to take their next steps into an uncertain future. On Earth, teams of experts worked tirelessly to craft a message that would represent the best of human culture and achievement. On Zephyria Prime, the High Council debated the best approach to guide, or contain, this fledgling spacefaring race. The stage was set for a meeting of two civilizations, separated by vast gulfs of space and biology, yet united by curiosity and the drive to explore. As both sides prepared to reach out across the cosmic void, the fate of two worlds, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The quantum diplomats were about to begin their most challenging mission yet, and the universe would never be the same. "And if these aliens aren't friendly?" the Russian president asked, voicing the fear that hung unspoken in the air. Ilara met his gaze steadily. "Then we'll need to be ready for that too. But let's not assume the worst. This could be the beginning of something amazing." As the world leaders debated and plans were made, Ilara couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and terror. Humanity had just taken its first stumbling steps onto the galactic stage, and there was no going back. On Zephyria Prime, the High Council of the Zephyrian Alliance had convened an emergency session. The chamber, a massive organic structure that pulsed with bioluminescent light, was abuzz with the clicking and chirping of agitated counselors. High Counselor Zelfurix had iridescent wings shimmering with authority, called the session to order. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice resonating through the chamber, "we face an unprecedented situation. A new species has inadvertently made contact through the quantum network." Murmurs of concern rippled through the assembly. First Communicator Zixara, Zelfurix continued, "Please share your findings with the Council." Zixara stepped forward, her antennae twitching nervously. "Honorable Councillors, the signals we've received are primitive but unmistakably artificial. They originate from a previously unexplored sector of the galaxy. Based on the signal characteristics, we believe this species has only recently discovered quantum communication technology." "Are they a threat?" demanded Councillor Vex Norax, his mandibles clicking aggressively. "Unknown," Zixara replied, "but that accidental contact suggests they may be more of a danger to themselves than to us." This elicited a wave of chittering laughter from the assembly, quickly silenced by a stern look from Zelfurix. "We must not underestimate them," the High Counselor warned. "Many species have risen from humble beginnings to become formidable forces in the galaxy. We must approach this with caution and wisdom." "What do you propose, High Counselor?" asked Zixara. Zelfurix's compound eyes gleamed with determination. "We will respond. We will welcome them to the galactic community. But we will also test them. Their response will determine whether they are treated as potential allies or potential threats." The council chamber erupted into a flurry of discussion. As the debate raged on, Zixara couldn't help but wonder about these strange new beings. What would they be like? How would they react to the knowledge that they were not alone in the universe? Little did she know, across the vast expanse of space, humanity was asking the very same questions. As the first day of this new era drew to a close, both humanity and the Zephyrians prepared to take their next steps into an uncertain future. On Earth, teams of experts worked tirelessly to craft a message that would represent the best of human culture and achievement. On Zephyria Prime, the High Council debated the best approach to guide, or contain, this fledgling spacefaring race. The stage was set for a meeting of two civilizations, separated by vast gulfs of space and biology, yet united by curiosity and the drive to explore. As both sides prepared to reach out across the cosmic void, the fate of two worlds, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The quantum diplomats were about to begin their most challenging mission yet, and the universe would never be the same. Elara felt a lump in her throat at the captain's unexpected support. "Thank you, Captain. Now, let's review what we know about the Zephyrians." As the Horizon prepared for its historic journey, activity on Zephyria Prime had reached a fever pitch. The High Council had decided to send their own delegation to meet the humans halfway, in a neutral star system equidistant from both worlds. First Communicator Zixara found herself in the unenviable position of leading the Zephyrian delegation. As she oversaw the loading of the bioship Chrysalis, she couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. "First Communicator," chittered her aide, "Vexlar, the last of the supplies have been loaded. We're ready for departure." Zixara's antennae twitched in acknowledgement. "Very good. And the gift for the humans." Vexlar gestured to a shimmering crystalline structure being carefully maneuvered into the ship. "The Harmony Sphere is secure, though I still question the wisdom of giving such advanced technology to a species we barely know." "It is not just a gift, Vexlar," Zixara explained patiently. "It is a test. How they respond to it will tell us much about their nature and their potential as allies or adversaries." As the delegation boarded the Chrysalis, Zixara took one last look at the gleaming spires of the capital city. She hoped she would see them again, preferably not from the viewport of a warship. Back on the horizon, Elara was in her quarters, poring over the latest linguistic analyses of the Zephyrian messages. The aliens' language was complex, full of subtle vibrations, and pheromonal components that human vocal cords couldn't hope to replicate. Thankfully, the universal translation matrices they had developed seemed to be up to the task. A knock at her door interrupted her studies. "Come in," she called out. Dr. Yuki Tanaka entered, carrying a tablet. "Dr. Chen, I've been analyzing the biological data the Zephyrians sent us. I think you should see this." Ilara took the tablet, her eyes widening as she scrolled through the information. "This can't be right. According to this, the Zephyrians perceive time differently than we do," Yuki finished. "Their metabolic and neural processes operate at a much faster rate. What feels like a minute to us might feel like an hour to them." Ilara sat back, stunned. "No wonder they thought our initial communications were so slow. We must have seemed like glaciers to them." Yuki nodded grimly. "It gets worse. Look at their lifespan data." Ilara's heart sank as she realized the implications. They live their entire lives in the span of a few Earth years. "By their standards, we're practically immortal," Yuki said softly. "Can you imagine how that might affect their perception of us, their culture, their diplomacy?" Ilara stood up abruptly, her mind racing. "We need to adjust our entire approach. Our concepts of short-term and long-term agreements will be completely different. We need to." She was cut off by the ship's intercom. "All hands, this is Captain Wei. We are approaching the rendezvous coordinates. First contact is imminent. All personnel to their stations." Ilara and Yuki shared a look of mingled excitement and fear. This was it, the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. As they hurried to the bridge, Ilara's mind was whirling with possibilities. How do you negotiate with a species that experiences time so differently? How do you build trust when your entire lifespan is but a blink of an eye to them? She realized, with a mix of humility and determination, that she was about to find out. The horizon dropped out of FTL at the edge of an unremarkable star system. A binary pair of red dwarfs orbited a handful of airless rocks. But it wasn't the stellar real estate that had everyone's attention, it was the ship waiting for them. The Zephyrian vessel hung in space like a colossal iridescent insect. Its organic curves and pulsing bioluminescence were unlike anything humanity had ever constructed. As Ilara stared at it from the horizon's bridge, she felt a renewed sense of wonder at the sheer alienness of what they were about to encounter. "Incoming transmission," announced the communications officer, her voice tight with tension. Captain Wei nodded to Ilara. "You're on, Doctor." Ilara stepped forward, her heart pounding. She took a deep breath and spoke the words she had rehearsed countless times, hoping the universal translator would convey their meaning accurately. "Greetings, people of Zephyria. I am Dr. Ilara Chen, representing the United Nations of Earth. We come in peace, seeking friendship and understanding between our worlds." There was a moment of agonizing silence, then a response came through. The translator rendered it in a soft, melodic voice with an underlying buzz that reminded Ilara of summer cicadas. "Greetings, Dr. Ilara Chen of Earth. I am First Communicator Zixara of the Zephyrian Alliance. We welcome you to the galactic community and look forward to fostering harmony between our peoples." A collective sigh of relief went through the bridge. First contact had been made, and no one had accidentally declared war, yet. As the two ships began the delicate dance of docking procedures, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of their challenges. The real test would come face to face, or face to mandible, with the Zephyrians. She just hoped she was up to the task. Galactic threats emerge. The meeting between humans and Zephyrians was a clash of cultures unlike anything either species had experienced. Ilara and her team struggled to keep up with the rapid-fire communication style of the insectoid aliens, while Zixara's delegation marveled at the long-term thinking of these glacial beings. Despite the challenges, progress was made. The exchange of scientific knowledge proved fruitful, with both sides gaining insights into new technologies and theories. However, just as they were beginning to find common ground, Alarm klaxons blared through both ships. Unidentified vessels approaching at high speed, reported Captain Wei, her face grim. They're not responding to hails. Zixara's antennae twitched in distress. No, she chittered. It cannot be. Not here, not now. What is it? Ilara asked, sensing the alien's fear. The Void Eaters, Zixara replied, her voice filled with dread. A scourge that has plagued our galaxy for millennia. They consume all in their path, planets, stars, even the fabric of spacetime itself. As if on cue, a swarm of pitch-black ships appeared, their surfaces seeming to absorb all light. They moved with an eerie, fluid grace that defied the laws of physics as humanity understood them. We must flee, Zixara urged. Neither of our ships is a match for them. But Ilara's mind was racing. Wait, she said, an idea forming. What if we combined our technologies? Our quantum communication network with your faster-than-light drives. Understanding dawned in Zixara's compound eyes. A quantum disruption field. It's never been attempted on this scale, but we don't have any other choice, Ilara finished. As the Void Eaters closed in, humans and Zephyrians worked feverishly to jury-rig a defense system unlike anything the galaxy had seen. It was a desperate gamble, born of two vastly different approaches to science and technology. At the last moment, as the Void Eaters prepared to strike, Ilara and Zixara activated their makeshift device. A wave of quantum energy rippled out, causing the Void Eaters' ships to falter and then disintegrate, their impossible physics undone by the combined ingenuity of two young races. In the aftermath, as both crews celebrated their unlikely victory, Ilara and Zixara shared a moment of understanding. They had glimpsed a threat greater than their differences, and in facing it together, found a bond that transcended species. The galactic stage had shifted. Humanity and the Zephyrians were no longer just new acquaintances, but unlikely allies against a cosmic terror. As they began to plan their next moves, both sides realized that their futures were now irrevocably intertwined. The quantum diplomats had passed their first true test, but greater challenges and opportunities lay ahead. The battle for Nova Terra. Months after the encounter with the Void Eaters, the human-Zephyrian alliance had grown stronger. Both species worked tirelessly to combine their technologies and prepare for the looming threat. However, their efforts were about to face their greatest test. Ilara Chen, now the head of Earth's Interstellar Defense Initiative, received an urgent transmission from Nova Terra, humanity's first extrasolar colony. Void Eaters, the colonists' face was pale with fear. They're here. Hundreds of ships. We need. The transmission cut off abruptly. Within hours, a joint human-Zephyrian fleet was assembled. The Horizon, now upgraded with Zephyrian biotech, led the charge. Beside it flew the Chrysalis, its hull pulsing with the energy of human quantum matrices. As they dropped out of FTL near Nova Terra, the sight that greeted them was horrifying. The Void Eaters swarmed around the planet like locusts, their dark ships seeming to devour the very light of the stars. "This is it," Ilara said, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. "Everything we've worked for comes down to this moment." Zixara, her mandibles clicking in agreement, added, "Together, we stand a chance. Divided, we fall." The battle that ensued was unlike anything either species had experienced. Human ingenuity and Zephyrian speed complemented each other perfectly. Quantum disruption fields rippled across space, while bioengineered missiles sought out the Void Eaters' weak points. But the enemy was numerous and relentless. For every ship they destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The defenders were being pushed back, their lines faltering. In a desperate gambit, Ilara proposed a radical plan. "We need to overload their quantum matrix," she explained hurriedly. "But it would require sacrificing the Horizon." The implications were clear. Whoever stayed behind to trigger the overload would not be coming back. Before anyone could object, Zixara stepped forward. "I will do it," she chittered. "My life cycle is near its end. Let my final act be one of salvation. Ilara wanted to argue, but there was no time. With a heavy heart, she coordinated the fleet's withdrawal as Zixara piloted the Horizon into the heart of the Void Eater swarm. The explosion that followed was beyond anything they had imagined. A sphere of pure quantum energy expanded outward, engulfing the Void Eaters. When it faded, nothing remained of the enemy fleet or the Horizon. As the dust settled, the true impact of their victory became clear. Not only had they saved Nova Terra, but they had also struck a decisive blow against a threat that had plagued the galaxy for eons. In the aftermath, as humans and Zephyrians mourned their losses and celebrated their survival, a new era of cooperation was born. The sacrifice of Zixara and the crew of the Horizon would be remembered for generations to come, a testament to the power of unity in the face of cosmic peril. The battle for Nova Terra had been won, but the war against the Void Eaters was far from over. As Ilara looked out at the stars, she knew that the greatest challenges and adventures still lay ahead. A new era of cooperation. 5 years after the Battle of Nova Terra, Dr. Ilara Chen stood on the observation deck of the newly christened starship Harmony. The vessel was a marvel of engineering, seamlessly blending human and Zephyrian technologies. Its quantum cores hummed in perfect sync with its bio-organic hull, a testament to what their two species could achieve together. As Ilara gazed out at the star-filled expanse, she reflected on how far they had come. The Void Eaters, while not entirely defeated, had been driven back to the fringes of known space. The alliance between Earth and Zephyria had grown stronger with each passing day, and other species were beginning to take notice. A soft, chittering sound behind her announced the arrival of Vexillar, Zixara's former aide and now the Zephyrian ambassador to Earth. Reflective thoughts, Ilara friend, Vexillar asked, his mandibles clicking gently. Ilara smiled, still marveling at how natural it felt to converse with a being so different from herself. Just thinking about Zixara, she replied. She would have loved to see this. Vexillar's antennae dipped in a gesture of respect. Her sacrifice lives on in every star we save, every world we protect. As if on cue, a shimmer of energy rippled across the viewport. The quantum shield, derived from the technology that had saved Nova Terra, was a constant reminder of what they had lost and what they had gained. "We're ready to depart, Ambassador," came Captain Rodriguez's voice over the intercom. "The Galactic Council awaits." Ilara took a deep breath. The Harmony was on its way to officially represent both Earth and Zephyria at the newly formed Galactic Council. It was a step towards a united galaxy, one that could stand against threats like the Void Eaters. "Well, old friend," Ilara said to Vexillar, "shall we go make history again?" Vexillar's compound eyes sparkled with an emotion Ilara had learned to recognize as joy. "Indeed, Ilara friend, the universe awaits." As the Harmony prepared to jump to quantum space, Ilara felt a profound sense of hope. They had faced impossible odds, bridged vast cultural divides, and emerged stronger for it. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that together, they could face anything the cosmos might throw at them. The stars stretched into lines of light, and the Harmony leaped into the unknown, carrying with it the dreams of two worlds and the promise of a brighter future for all.